My name is Chioma Okpara. It's another great time for us to celebrate creativity in the arts. Let's start right away. Olumide Onadipe is a painter who loves to experiment. In his new body of work, we're going to see that he loves colors, but his eclectic side is also revealed. Take a look. This is Olumide Onadipe's second solo exhibition. As a painter, canvas should be his best platform for self-expression, but as a creative person, he thinks out of the box all the time. He's filled this exhibition space with art pieces he did between late last year and early this year. He chose the title Twists and Twirls for this solo effort.
My ability to be able to twist a material, to be able to bend a material, to repurpose the use of a material from the popular way one can use it to creating art form as a platform for visual expression. He's turned waste to wealth, but he says gathering the materials was not a walk in the park. I've been to different companies trying to sort out how I can acquire the waste product. When I go there, I remember a particular one. I told them, how do I get your waste product? They told me they have two categories. I think one was hand cut and one was strictly waste product. I said, okay, how do I get it? Which one do you think I should get? They said, okay, I could go for the hand cuts. After they told me, I said, okay, I want to go for the hand cut. I want to buy your hand cuts. Those are the waste product when the machine is cutting. And they told me, I have to book. If I agree to sell, but now I have to book. I said, book, okay, no problem. If I book now, when will I collect it? They said, no, they have to, something persons on the list. That after those, they've been able to satisfy those persons, then they will now call me. They will have to call me on the phone. And they're making payment for after a whole month. You will now have to get a call to receive a waste product. He's used plastic bags, polythene, plastic rings, jute bags, wood, glass and metal to address different societal issues. The title of this piece is Different Colors, One People. I actually conceived the idea for my son. And the funny thing is that I am not a football fan. I don't watch football, neither do I play football. And when my son was around 2 years of age, my first son, he would just start saying, go, go. And anytime maybe you want to change the station, and immediately he sees where there is football, he will want to he will make signal that is what we want to watch. And I started wondering, where did this boy, spirit of football, how did he get to like football? I mean, even today that we started buying balls, we bought him a lot of balls, he just loved football. Then over time I started studying people. I realized that regardless of the differences among people, across border, across ethnic or religious differences, when it comes to the time of watching ball, there's a meeting point. This piece is titled Mind Behind Bars. This particular piece talks about a whole colorful set of people within bars. They are all enclosed within bars, and few are able to escape. That regardless of the fact that we are a nation or we are people, the minds of the majority are behind bars. This piece is called The Receiver and the Giver. If you look at the piece, you realize that you hardly could find the giver. We have only very few givers, and we have people that eventually stylishly give. It is natural for us in life to always ask. We do always ask. We actually ask at all. Most time, if you are conscious of it, you discover that you ask more, far more than you give. I titled this piece, One is All. It's just like a head, a stylized head. And I have a dot here. The work is yellow, but this is much more lighter yellow. The whole of creation was through one person. The title of this work is Nest. This is a work that actually deals with environmental hazards. If you look critically at the piece, you discover that there is an element of pink, reddish pink inside. It actually has holes where nests can actually, lay their eggs. it actually connotes the danger that human activities poses on the environment.
Olumide Onadipe studied arts at the Federal College of Education Technical, Harcourt. Thereafter, he did a postgraduate program in arts education at the University of Lagos. He also studied uli painting style. As an experimental artist, he's chosen to have a collection of only abstract pieces.
Whatever your work may mean to you may not necessarily mean to another person else. Of course, you have to appreciate art through observation, through analysis, through aesthetics, through judgment.
Olumide Onadipe is a full-time studio artist. He lives in Lagos. He's participated in few group exhibitions. He plans to make this a travel exhibition. Welcome back. Those are painstakingly done art pieces. Well done, Olumide Onadipe. From visual arts, let's talk about the movies. I attended a private screening, select but quality audience, no red carpet, and we sat for more than 1 hour. It was time well spent. Stick around.
In 2015,
all you trash will be taken off the streets.
Silverrain is an inspirational story based on a real meeting.
I met a girl in the markets of Ghana who touched me greatly. She was 17. I met her 10 years ago. Came from a family of about 50. Her father had 45 kids and about 4 wives. And she had come from the northern part of the country to the south to find work. And this happens a lot in our societies. And the story doesn't really end well. She slept on the street at the end of the story. She was, of the real story, she gets raped and pregnant. And for me, I could never forget about that girl. At the end of the day, she refused my help. But one thing that stayed with me was the strength of character of that girl. And again, that represents Africans and the problems we face, and yet every day we get up and we smile and we go about our duties as if everything is fine. And so for me, one day I'm sitting there thinking about this girl, and I take out my computer and I start to write Silverrain.
This Pan-African movie was shot in Ghana and South Africa. The cast and crew were drawn from Nigeria, South Africa, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Kenya.
My pocket is not deep, but I think that there are many people who share the passion, who realize and acknowledge what we are trying to achieve. So support came from many, many places. I worked with a casting director, very good casting director, because there was no way I could do this alone. I must say that I had an amazing team, both technical and before the camera.
Enyi Namwigwe acted as Bruce.
There's a quote I go by when it concerns my career as an actor, which is something that I made up myself, which is the art being an expression of life and life an expression of the art, vice versa. You know, so it's like I pay attention to every moment in my life as a person. When I'm with people, I'm genuinely hanging with people. When I'm listening, I'm genuinely listening. I'm always observing my environment as I go as a person. So there's always that element for every script that comes to my table as an actor, where it's like a deja vu, where it's like I've lived this before, or I've experienced this before, or I know this person in this script, I've met this person before, you know. So because of that, there's always something to draw from life's experience. So the Bruce you see represents so many guys I've hung out with as a young man. It represents part of me and the life, certain parts of him I would have wished I had. Well, parts, yeah, me, the vessel I carried the character is me, yes, you know, but the layering of the character came from a lot of elements, a lot of people I've met that are on that class and how they'll do things.
This is a private screening. The audience sat still for 1 hour, 30 minutes.
I found the movie to be quite interesting. It had so many dimensions to it, and I learned quite a few things I didn't know, actually. It was a lovely, heartwarming love story that quite a lot of families across the color divide and culture as well can relate to, you know.
Excellent work. I think it's a really, really interesting piece of work that essentially is a collaboration of a lot of talents from across Africa.
Enyi Namwigwe studied economics at the University of Calabar. What is it like for an actor to sit with the crowd for a film screening?
I'm not a fan of myself, but I don't like to watch myself, I don't like to hear myself. Well, not in a bad way, it's just that I'll say I'm a bit overly critical. I'm overly critical of myself as an actor, and it helps me in a certain way because when I watch, I look out for technicalities, I look out for how I could do things differently.
Juliet Ashante started out as an actress. She's a scriptwriter, producer, and director. She's a director and one of the executive producers of Silverrain. Why the title Silverrain?
For me, when I think about rain, I think about strength, I think about resurrection, I think about, you know, rain can destroy. When you have a storm and all of that, it can destroy. And yet, rain is a symbol of something new, of growth, of strength. And that is what Silverrain is about. Again, it's about the duality of Africa. What is so obvious, but is not so obvious.
This movie will hit the cinema soon, and hopefully rewards will come in form of award in different categories. Nice to have you back. I love the idea of a private screening. Talking about the movie Silverrain, the story was splendid and I enjoyed the acting. Thumbs up, Juliet. Okay, now let's take a trip to Port Harcourt. The city of Port Harcourt was the World Book Capital in 2014. World Book Capital City is a UNESCO initiative. Madrid was the first to be nominated in 2001. Port Harcourt was the 14th. Last year was a busy one for the Rainbow Book Club, the body that helped Nigeria clinch that prestigious award. Art and Leisure was at the closing ceremony and it was a colorful event. Take a look. The closing ceremony of Port Harcourt World Book Capital City 2014 started with a symposium. A 5-member panel discussed on how the legacy can be sustained. They encouraged a holistic approach.
Teaching is a passion. Yeah, if you don't have a calling, you can do it. And there is a very big distance between what happens, the emotion you carry from your house to the emotion you carry to the class.
Others spoke for and against teaching in local languages.
Language plays a role in the problem we face in learning as at now amongst our children. We've been, should I say, globalized in a sense that we think that unless we think in a foreign language, we cannot learn. Yeah, that's not true. The Japanese teach with the language and the children learn. The Chinese do the same. The Arabs do the same. Even sciences. But here we are meant to believe that our languages are so inferior that we cannot fit in. The truth is, everybody cannot speak English language like Wole Shoyinka.
I'm an Igbo man. I'm not sure I will allow my child, if I have a child, to learn Igbo language as his first language, because if you're learning Igbo, it will be very difficult for you to compete in this present dispensation.
It's a good thing our government today is moving from just the theory aspect, okay, to building technical schools. I do not think you're going to flash a certificate on the generator for it to come on. It's about what you the skill in your hand. So if the child better understands with the local language, I think we should do that while we have the English teacher teach by the side.
I think we are underestimating the power of the brain, because if we take Switzerland for example, you have children under 10 learning 4 languages and they're able to cope. So I think we should look deeper at our level of education and what our priorities are.
When this state was created, that is Rivers and Bayelsa, a group of people met in Lagos to plan the Rivers Readers Project, which was to teach children in primary school how to read in their own language.
Parents are encouraged to give books as gifts to their children.
In my house, when the children were growing up, my gifts for them always be a book. And I told one of them, even made a joke, "Mommy, I hope you're not going to give me a book on my wedding day." I said, "Of course, that's what I would do." I said, "Of course, that's what I would do. I'll give you a book on your wedding. One of the gifts I'll give you will be a book. It will not be a Bible. Popular thing is Bible. I'll give you a book. You have to go and read."
Rivers State government gives education a pride of place.
No nation can develop without focusing attention on education. Without education, the world will be in darkness. And you cannot talk of education without books. The present administration realized this fact and made education the focal point of its development agenda. And the result of it is, for everyone to see.
Nominating Port Harcourt as the World Book Capital City in 2014 was a reward to the Garden City for her relentless effort in making everyone to read and continue to read. Throughout the World Book Capital year, a book of the month was featured. The monthly book in focus was discussed on radio shows and social media throughout the month. Book clubs were established in primary and secondary schools in the state. There was a drama performance every month. Adult literacy and library support programs were introduced. There were other national and continent-based programs.
The Walking Book Project. We worked with children in junior secondary schools in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. So we worked with about 370 children and about 37 teachers to generate stories by the children about their local government areas, important landmarks, traditions, festivals. The children wrote it in the schools, sent the entries, we collated them, edited them. We had Kaine Agari, a Port Harcourt author, and myself edited it. We had an illustration, bring the story to life through drawings, and we produced a book. So that's one program that involved children from around the nation. We also had a writing competition for tertiary institution students around Nigeria. So that's another national project. We had the writers in residency, where over 200 applicants, indicated interest, and we whittled down to 12. Even if half of those had to be from Rivers State, the other half were drawn from around Nigeria. We brought them to Port Harcourt, to Songhai Farms specifically. They spent 2 weeks there, and then they spent a week at our book festival, and they too produced an anthology. And it's not just national. We have some international projects as well. For instance, the Africa 39, where we collaborated with Hay Festival and Bloomsbury Publishers to select and celebrate 39 of Africa's most promising writers.
Some children who participated in the year-long event shared their experiences.
From time to time we met, we were given different books, very interesting books. We read them, and of course we came to discuss them. Sometimes people from outside the school came, sometimes they didn't, but nonetheless it was a great experience.
I read more now, and I learned new cultures, new words, new people, and how they do what they do.
Some writers had their works documented.
We have had quite a few books that are published, but I'll just point out a few, and this is the main one for me because the writers are here, and it's our latest publication, Songhai 12. The writers in residence was talked about how 200 people were chosen. It was brought down to 89, then 12.
A lot was achieved between April 2014 and April 2015. Many worked in different capacities for the realization of set targets. They were rewarded in different award categories.
It came as a very pleasant surprise. I didn't know how much it meant until I was up that stage. I mean, but I think the award really goes to the children and to the organization that has actually put this together. It has made a dream come true, which I've always wanted. That's to serve my community and to serve the children that I actually teach.
One of the high points of the event was a dance drama. Mrs. Coco Kalango has successfully run her book club for 10 years. She was the project director for Port Harcourt World Book Capital.
Anything I encounter, I ask myself, what would I learn from this? What lesson of life do I have to learn from this? So there have been many lessons, you know, new levels of revelation dealing with human beings, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But above all, Chioma, there's been a lot of sacrifice that perhaps my husband and my children, you know, would be in the best position to talk about, and other close family and friends and my pastors and all that. But in everything, the impact that I know we've made keeps me joyful. Children come up to me, like someone came up to me and gave me a little paper. They do that all the time. It means so much to me.
She's working towards leaving a legacy.
That we used the book as a tool for positive change, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa.
She's not resting on her oars as there are more grounds to cover. Port Harcourt handed the baton to Incheon in the Republic of Korea. Welcome back. We congratulate Nigeria on that achievement, and to everyone who made that possible, thank you. Thank you too for making our time to watch the program today. Don't forget that you can watch any of our episodes online. Just visit www.artandleisure.com.ng. Please, we always encourage you to leave a comment after watching each episode. My name is Chioma Okpara. I'll see you again same time next week, God willing. Until then, love yourself, love Nigeria.